Today we are talking about trust. Here are just a few of the comments I hear from people about trust. Isn't a trust just for wealthy people? I don't have any assets. Why would I need a trust? I already have a will. Isn't that enough? I'm young. I don't need anything. These are all common myths that I hear from people every day. So stick around and I will explain about the common misconceptions of trusts. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me for Estate Planning 101. I am the estate planning mom, and my name is Krista Hermans. I am an estate planning attorney licensed in California, and I help families with minor children protect their children and families through estate planning. Please make sure to click that subscribe button and hit that bell to be notified when new videos are released every Monday. And if you didn't see the first video in this series, head over to see what probate is and grab the free emergency contact sheet I'm giving away there. So today we're going to be talking about trusts. So what is a trust? Well, I'm going to be referring to a revocable living trust when I refer to this. So what exactly is a trust? Well, a trust is basically just a legal agreement where you as the grantor, which is the creator of the trust, gives specific instructions to the trustee, which is the person who agrees to hold legal title to the assets in the trust. And they do this for the benefit of the beneficiaries. While you are alive in a revocable living trust, you are all three of these parties. You are the grantor, you are the trustee, and you are the beneficiary. You are not releasing any control of any of your assets in a revocable living trust. You still retain all of the control. So some of the benefits of having a trust allows you to identify someone to manage the money if something were to happen to you and your spouse. So if you had minor children, you could identify somebody what's known as a successor trustee or an executor. So you can identify this person to be able to manage money specifically for your children if something were to happen to you. One of the great benefits of this with a trust is that this person that you identify doesn't actually have to be the guardian that you name or that you nominate for your children. A lot of my clients really like this because, maybe they really like the guardians that they've identified for their children as guardians, but they're horrible with money. Well, having a trust allows you to be able to say, well, this is the person that I want to be able to manage the money separate from the person that's going to be guardian. So it's almost like a check and a balance. Another thing is that having a trust allows you to set up sub-trust for your kids. So you could do this when they, if something were to happen and they were to receive money, rather than receive money when they were 18 years old, if it had to go through probate court, which in California is the legal age of majority. So until children reach that age, if funds had to go through probate court, they would get all of it in one lump sum at 18. Having a trust allows you to set up sub-trusts. Like I said, whatever ages you choose, I'm just saying 25, 30, 35 as examples, but it allows you to kind of spread it out over the course of their adulthood rather than receive everything at 18. Another thing that a trust allows you to do is protect your children's inheritance from any creditors, predators, and future ex-spouses. Having a trust, there's different ways to set it up so that if there was, maybe an alcohol problem or a gambling problem in the future, or maybe, if something happened to you and your children had their sub-trust set up and they had were getting a divorce at the time, the trust could function in a way, if set up that way, to be able to say that any of the money that you would receive wouldn't be allowed to be touched by the future ex-spouse. Like California, we're a community property state, and generally when you have funds that are commingled together, when a divorce happens, they would essentially just take that money and just split it in half and equally. So there are ways to make sure that you can set up a trust to protect your children from that if you wanted to. Another thing that having a trust allows you to do, which is one of the biggest benefits for most of the families that I work with since they have minor children, is it allows you to put your trust as a beneficiary or alternate beneficiary on your life insurance policies or your retirement accounts. So like the example I gave, when you if you didn't have a trust and something happened, all of that money that was supposed to go to your children would then go through probate court if they were listed as a beneficiary maybe, or they just received it as if something happened to you. Well, so when you have a trust, it just allows the trust to be designated as a beneficiary, so that if something were to happen, the life insurance proceeds or retirement accounts would go into the revocable living trust to be distributed how you set up. Maybe, the sub trust at 25, 30, and 35 for your kids, rather than everything when they turn 18, which is a really, really great benefit of having a trust. Also, by having a trust, generally it avoids probate, which is, one of the reasons a lot of people like to do trust. Avoiding probate means your estate would pay less money in cost of having to go through probate and the probate process. It takes a lot less time. Like we said, probate is a very long process. And then last is, when you have a trust, it's private. It doesn't get filed with the court, so people aren't going to know your business, what assets you have, who you're giving your stuff to. So that's trusts, revocable living trusts in a nutshell. I hope this kind of clears up some of the misconceptions about what a trust is. Like, a trust isn't just for the wealthy. I think anybody, if they have minor children, especially, or own a house, a trust is a really great tool to be able to make sure that your wishes are written down, and that you can actually control how you would want your stuff distributed if something happened to you. Don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that bell, and please comment with any estate planning questions or comments that you may have. Thank you.